What are the key elements or the points to be an entrepreneur in this modern chaotic world?
Back when I started my business in the year 2000, we didn't have the same technology or capital. Right?
By the way, I read in this book, Lonely Entrepreneur Methodology.
Yep.
What that methodology is?
The methodology really is how you take these skills and think of them as developing them just like a mother, right?
Actually, I had decided to ask Michael Dermer, how was the research for this book?
It was my story. It was really easy to be really candid and honest about what we did wrong. Unless you're applying these tools and these ideas when you're in the struggle, right? Developing these individual skills. Yep.
Okay, that's very clear from Michael Dermer that in the past time it was only passion or something like that, something else, some other elements. But
well, we did it a lot when we had the crisis. You know, what we said was, listen, Amazon, we all know Amazon, right? Amazon at the time told everybody, no one will ever buy a book in a bookstore again, right?
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to lose $5 billion to do it.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing $11 billion to do it, but they did it.
Yes.
So we used to tell that parable all the time. We used to say, listen, we're changing the healthcare system.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard along the way. And think about Amazon. It cost them twice as much as they thought, but now they rule the world. And so telling these stories for me and my company, even with all the bad things going on during the financial crisis, that parable really kept them aligned to where we were trying to go.
Can you little bit explain about your company status now?
Yep. So we sold the company in 2013 to a larger healthcare technology company, and it led me, fortunately, to right below the entrepreneur and build a learning platform for entrepreneurs. So now my company's owned by somebody else, and I spend all day long just trying to help entrepreneurs be successful.
Actually, I had decided to ask Michael Dermer, how was the research for this book? But now I know there is no any importance in asking that because everything has come from his personal global experience. Anyhow, can you once again tell me or tell the audience how was it very specific about the experience of writing the book?
You know, there was so much that we learned along the way, right? And so many things that we had gone through a 2-year period. And to have it ultimately something you realize that all the things that we went through, all the crazy stories, was exactly what everybody else was experiencing. We were all experiencing the struggle. So the point was, even though it was my story, it was really easy to be really candid and honest about what we did wrong, what we learned, the crazy stories that happened to me, but we all have them, right? So when we wrote the book, it wasn't like we had to research because we had lived through it. What we did try to do, though, is we tried to say, okay, we lived through it. What did we learn that other people could know before going through the struggle? Right? And so those experiences were very obvious because we were lucky enough to have success, but we look back and said, oh, I wish I had done this differently, or we did this really well at the time. So it was all real life experiences.
Okay, for our listeners and for our audience, I would like to ask you this question: that there are so many books in the market for the entrepreneurs. What is the special uniqueness of your book?
There are plenty of books out there for entrepreneurs and business books. I think the real difference is, unless you're applying these tools and these ideas when you're in the struggle, right? It's really very
in the middle of the struggle.
In the middle of the struggle, because if you come up with an idea that works in corporate America or corporate India, that's very, very different from when it's pressure on you and you've left a job and you don't have money. So the perspective of the entrepreneur being in the midst of the struggle is critical, because then, like, you could say something like, you have to prioritize. If you say that to an entrepreneur, they say, you're crazy, you can't prioritize, right? So unless it comes from the perspective of the struggle, it's really hard to apply. And everything we do in the book talks about, okay, when you're under the influence of the pressure, how is it that your brain is off a little bit? Right? And because you're off a little bit, how do you use that and then apply all the skills that we're talking about? So I think that's what's unique about it.
That means there are so many skills you have written in this book.
Yeah.
And is there any subject like this in NLP? We say stress-free business, or doing business with full of enjoyment, or joyfully doing the business. Is there such any techniques or skills in this book you have included?
Yeah. Like you said, there's many different skills.
Yeah,
I mean, everything from standing out from the crowd, managing your day, right? Communicating more clearly, all of these things that you talk about. And a lot of these things are different when you're under the pressure, right? When you go to hire your first employee, you're under so much pressure, you'll hire anybody.
I think one section is you have given one section for hiring also in this book.
All about people, all about people. So when you go to hire that employee, you're working 24 hours a day. So you'll hire anybody, and you make a mistake.
Of course.
So that's an example of one of many skills that you just don't understand unless you've been through the struggle.
Okay. By the way, let me ask you, Michael, from which part of US you're coming from? Actually, I did not ask about that.
From New
you're
York.
talking about the entrepreneur, business, all those stuff. But I did not ask personal things like that.
So I grew up just outside of New York City, and I'm from New York City. I live right in Midtown Manhattan in New York City.
Okay, and can you give me a little bit about your childhood, school days?
Sure. I grew up in a suburb of New York City. I was an athlete. So I played every sport possible when I was a kid. Basketball, baseball, soccer, football. I went to college on a baseball scholarship. Played a little bit of basketball in college. And then I became a corporate lawyer. I went to Northwestern Law School in Chicago, Illinois.
How many years you have practiced as a lawyer?
Only 3.
Only 3.
Which means I took the $1 million my parents spent on education and kind of threw it away after 3 years.
The same I had experience.
Oh, really?
I had practiced no years at all.
Oh, wow.
Because of so many financial problems at that time. I came to Middle East at that time and moved to here. And from here, I wrote one of my first book. And that became very hit in all over India. And then from here, I quit my job and went to India and started writing the books. And it's about more than 30 years now.
Wow.
And 33 books I have completed up to now. Okay, let me come to you because you're the guest now. I'm not talking. It's not for me.
You.
Okay. For our audience, let me ask you, what are the key elements or the points to be an entrepreneur in this modern chaotic world?
You know, being an entrepreneur today is very different than it was when I started my business. Back when I started my business in the year 2000, we didn't have the same technology or capital, right? The world wasn't flat, you had all these things. So back then, if you had 3 things, you were okay. If you had passion, if you had grit, right?
Sorry?
Grit, work really hard, and you had a good idea. And if you had those 3 things, you were fine, right? Today, that's not enough.
Wow.
The key today is improving your skills as an entrepreneur each and every day.
You mean the internal skills?
Internal skills and functional skills,
so
all of them.
yeah,
So how you communicate, how you hire, how clearly you communicate your sales message. You know, there's hundreds of skills out there. It's not just passion, grit, and a good idea.
By the way, I wrote in this book, Lonely Entrepreneur Methodology. What that methodology is?
The methodology really is how you take these skills and think of them as developing them just like a mother, right? So you don't think about, I just have passion and I run through the wall. You say, okay, if I understand I'm under the pressure when I'm hiring, right? Or I understand that I don't have all the resources that other entrepreneurs have, right? So I have to go left when other people go right. There's hundreds of these little skills that you have to develop, that as you get better at them, you generate revenue faster, you save more money, you hire better, you raise money better. So the key is not just passion and grit, it's developing these individual skills.
Okay, that's very clear from Michael Dermer that in the past time it was only passion or something like that, something else, some other elements. But in the modern times, is about the skills. It's a reality because in NLP also we say the same thing in another language, in another way. And in NLP, we have certain therapies and techniques to develop the skills from within. For example, with regard to the internal skills, for example, the confidence. The confidence we need and problem solving capacities that we need by an entrepreneur. In NLP, we have certain techniques and also therapies that will ask the people to just close your eyes. And in NLP, we say all the people have all the resources within themselves.
Absolutely.
I always use this parable example. Just visualize a child. He has so much confidence power in it. Every child has so much hunter level, more than hunter level confidence when he was coming to this planet Earth. But after that, somewhere we lost it. That means, as an entrepreneur, we were also once a child. We were not born as an entrepreneur. I say in my class like this: we were born as a child with all these capacities. For example, the capacity, the internal potential of the confidence, and so many skills. In NLP, what we do is that just we do the therapies, and we can retrieve all those experiential skills again to the surface level. We can experience it because in science it is said that whatever we have seen visually, everything is recorded in our brain. There is a special area called there's a special area in the brain. In that area, every visual that we have seen is recorded there, and what we have heard is there. What we experience is there. What we smell is there. Touch is there. Everything is there. The same way, the experiential experience of the confidence. I say like that. The confidence, the happiness, the all other experience is there still in our neurology. And through therapies, we are awakening all the potential.
So if you think about the way that applies to entrepreneurs, right? Entrepreneurs have to have ego. They have to have that confidence, right? Because people are going to say no over and over again to you as an entrepreneur. The skill you develop is how do you use that ego and that confidence, but also balance it with the humility that you have to get better at being an entrepreneur. And that's a very specific skill, because if you have too much ego, it doesn't work. If you're humble, but you don't have the confidence.
These are the opposite poles, ego and humble.
Right, exactly. And so how do you have that right balance? That's one of those skills that you learn, that then you start to understand, okay, I have to be my confidence and I'm going to drive forward even when people are saying no. But I have to be humble enough to learn every single day and get better at it. And those are just one of many of the skills.
Very nice explanation. Okay. And now let me ask you very important question. That Michael Dermer, what is your real mission to this world?
I had gone through this very personal experience of my company.
The negative experience.
And it worked out great. But for every entrepreneur out there, whether you have an idea or just you're a one-person company or 100-person company, it's your life, right? There's no business life or personal life, it's your life. And so my mission is to really unlock the potential of entrepreneurs throughout the world by turning this struggle that we
have you heard the word? Unlock the inner potential of the entrepreneurs worldwide. Very interesting, very nice. Be very keen. Every word counts. So be very attentive to the words of Michael Dermer. Okay.
So unlocking that potential requires you to turn the struggle into success. And that's what we hope to do, is really unlock the potential. There are people throughout the world that have amazing ideas. So if we can play a role in actually helping them turn those ideas and that potential into success, that really is our mission.
Okay, to be very specific, you use the words from struggle to success. What is the alchemy?
It's really these series.
The journey from the struggle to success. What is the alchemy?
It's not just passion, right? It's these specific skills that you develop. Like, for example, if you balance ego and humility the right way, you do better. If you hire that employee the right way, you do better.
I think the balance is also is a secret, isn't it?
Of course.
The balance.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And you just get better at knowing which one to use.
So which time and which place, to which person.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, so when you're going through this and you're trying to go from struggle to success, it's how you execute on these individual skills. So take my example about hiring. I'm working 24 hours a day. I go to hire somebody. At that point, I'm working so hard, I would hire anybody. Right? And I make a mistake. So what could I do? Well, what I could do is, let's say I know you and I respect your business judgment. You don't know anything about my business. I might say, hey, would you do me a favor? Would you interview this person for me? You would come back to me and you'd say, they don't have the skills that you do.
Is there any specific secret for hiring people? For my audience, can you reveal any secrets for hiring people in a specific way?
I'd say the one thing as an entrepreneur that you have to have is they have to believe in the vision.
And the vision,
especially early on, because you're not going to be able to pay people what other people pay people, right? You're not going to be able to give them all the benefits. They're going to work harder. They're going to have multiple roles. They really have to buy in to where you're going and your vision. And that's the key in the beginning. Later on, when you get bigger, you can hire people for roles. But in the beginning, they have to be as steadfast as the vision as you are, because it's going to be crazy ride.
Very nice to hear you. Okay, Michael Turner, what are you going to do with the lonely entrepreneur in this world?
Well, what we really saw is the opportunity to help entrepreneurs in lots of different ways. So we started with the book. The book started to get published in different languages like Spanish. But the one thing we also saw was that while there was a lot of information for entrepreneurs, whether it be India or the US or Dubai, it was really disorganized and very, very hard to figure out. So we built an online learning platform. And that online learning platform organizes all that information.
You already started the online platform?
Yep.
Started.
So the online learning platform basically breaks the business into 12 different areas and really organizes information for entrepreneurs. And then we've been taking it global. So to UAE, to Turkey, to Croatia, to Mexico, all over the world. Entrepreneurs throughout the world have the same challenge. They have ideas. How do I understand how to turn that into a viable business? So the Lonely Entrepreneur has kind of been spreading worldwide in addition to the United States, and the learning platform is one that we're rolling out. And then as part of that, we're going to be rolling out the Lonely Entrepreneur platform for different countries and for different industries like healthcare and fashion and food. So that learning platform will continue to grow throughout the world.
And what about the publication of this book? Have you yourself published or somebody else has published your book?
We published it ourselves in the US because we wanted to make sure that we could take it worldwide on our own.
Same with me. All 33 books, I am the publisher, I am the author, I am the distributor. Same that you're doing. You know, in today's newspaper, have you seen about we were together in Indian newspaper. Have you heard about it? Okay, this is my personal mobile, and in yesterday's paper, in India's paper, the most read news daily in India, all over India. In that paper, we have come together. See the photo. See the photos. We are together in the newspaper, online and also in the offline paper. See, for the audience, I'm showing this. We are together here, 2 lawyers, 2 authors together. Okay, he's from US and I'm from India. And we together in Indian paper. I'm very happy to show you this.
Absolutely.
See, it's written there, the people of the journalists, they have written this in our language, it's written like this. Eganga Patalamai Moinam Michael. That means we are two militants, but one. We have one militant together. Shardil, we have we are together in the Sharjah International Book Fair. How many contents to write like this? Okay, I'm showing this for my happiness to show you.
Of course.
Okay, what we are talking about anyway? You were talking something.
Well, we were just talking about how,
what you are going to do with the lonely entrepreneur in the world.
Yeah, so we're
And you were talking about the online platform.
Yeah, so the books are helpful, but really when an entrepreneur is trying to start a business, they need a place to go to learn. And so that's why we created this online learning platform. And so now people have come to us and say, take it to Mexico, take it to Croatia, take it to Turkey, take it to the Middle East. And so we're bringing that learning platform to all of those different countries. So entrepreneurs will have one place to go to learn. And then in addition to countries, we're taking it to industries. Healthcare, finance, fashion, food. So entrepreneurs that say, hey, I want to be a fashion entrepreneur, right? Or I want to be a technology entrepreneur, have one place to go. And that's really the mission is can we really, like I said before, unlock the potential of entrepreneurs worldwide.
I love that word so much, unlocking. Because one of the great master of mind is Anthony Robbins. Tony Robbins. He's from your country.
Of course.
He's from the US. And one of his books' name is Awaken the Giant Within. I love that word. Awaken the potential. Awaken the giant. Okay.
And entrepreneurs. They might have the idea and they might have the passion, but if you don't give them some place to teach them how, right, they'll never be able to unlock that potential. And so that's what we're really trying to do with the Lonely Entrepreneur.
And at that time, when I first read this book, Awaken the Giant Within, I was really amazed and surprised reading that book with my teacher from your country. Okay. Anyway, we are coming to the conclusion, and if you have something special to tell any about this subject, you can continue.
Sure. Sure. I think really more than anything,
or otherwise we can move to the final message. If there's anything in between, you can talk.
No, I think
finally we'll go to the final message to our audience.
Let's go final message.
Isn't it? Okay. Now I'm asking for our audience, our tribe, as an entrepreneur. As a book author, The Lonely Entrepreneur. I ask for my tribe, my community, my Indian audience, what is your final message to our loving entrepreneur, especially Indians, or all over the world?
Here's what I would say to everybody out there. Being an entrepreneur is not a job, it's an identity. And if you really embrace it as an identity and it's your life's work, that you really do think about the humility of getting better at it every single day, just like a mother, right, who has a baby. And many entrepreneurs know starting a business is like having a baby. So if you really think of being an entrepreneur as not a job but an identity, you embrace that identity, and then you really work at your craft on a daily basis. And that would be the one message I'd have to everybody, regardless of where you're watching from.
I remember my teacher, Alex Mandoshan always says that entrepreneurship is like a parenting.
Absolutely.
He used that word, parent. It's just like parenting.
Absolutely.
But now you use it's just like a mother. Very fantastic. There are so many common vibes between us and our teachers and everyone. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Michael, to be with me for the interview, especially for our tribe. Thank you very much. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.